5 to 6 weeks that I have been rideshare driving. I started on the Uber platform first, and then I added on the Lyft platform around 5 days after. And I was driving for Uber and Lyft for several weeks before last week when I added on HopSkipDrive. Now, everyone knows what Uber and Lyft is. They're ride-sharing companies. The only difference being that Uber also offers Uber Eats, which I have taken some deliveries for when the number makes sense and also just to try it. Now, HopSkipDrive is also a ride-sharing platform, but it's mainly geared towards kids and older people. And when I mean kids, I'm talking about kids that may need booster seats. For HopSkipDrive, you have to go through a more extensive background check. I even had to get fingerprinted, and my background check was done through the Department of Social Services for California. So that just gives an example of how thorough they take the background checks for their drivers on HopSkipDrive. Also on Lyft and Uber, it took around 1 or 2 days to get on the platform and start driving. For HopSkipDrive, it took me around a whole month to get registered and pass the background check and go through all the verification to start driving for them. So far, driving for all the platforms, it has been an interesting experience. I still like it so far. I'm still driving around parts of San Diego, discovering new parts of San Diego that I've never been to before. Still meeting interesting people, interesting professions. And I haven't really ran into anyone who's been too crazy to handle. And since I drive mainly only during the daytime, I don't really encounter any drunk people. The only drunk person that I drove was actually a day drinker, and that was on St. Patty's Day. This past week, most of my rides were done on Uber, mainly because Uber offers better pay than Lyft and is more frequent rides that are requested. I also qualify for their comfort rides, and they have reservations. All of that factored together makes, at least for the San Diego market, for me, makes Uber the better rideshare platform. For Lyft, I did less rides than I normally did, mainly because the Lyft rides, they don't come as often and they don't pay as well as Uber, to be honest. So unless I see there are quests or bonuses, I won't be doing Lyft as much as I will be doing Uber. After hitting the Lyft sign-up bonus, I've been doing less and less Lyft rides. This week I did 26 rides. Last week I did 39 rides. And that's when I hit the bonus. And the week before I did 66 rides. So you can see that it's trending downwards, and I expect it to remain that way. Now let's take a look at the spreadsheet. So here we have the current day. So today is Sunday, March 24th. Shows you my stats for today. I also have the daily average, which means that on a typical Monday, on an average, on all Mondays, what the average numbers are. Same thing goes for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And also what a daily average looks like. So on an average day, I do around 208 miles. I'm online for 9.1 hours, and I'm active for 7.1 of those hours. And I gross $229, netting $166. And my tip percentage is 30% tip rate, and 13% of my gross is comprised of tips. Now let's look at, on a daily basis, we can see that the least earning day is actually a Thursday, and the highest grossing day is on a Sunday. Now let's go take a look at the weekly tracker, the current week tracker. So this has this whole week totaled up, and you can see here that I took Saturday off. It was for my son's birthday party. But the rest of the day during that week, I worked. Now we can take a look at, on a weekly basis, how I've been doing. So this is the current week. This is the previous weeks. So you can see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks worth of data that has been accumulated so far. And I also have a monthly view So month of March is how much I've done, month of February how much I've done, and as more data gets populated, it will get populated with more months. Now let's look at the total. So this shows total that I've done on rideshare driving. And I did, between the 5 and 6 weeks of driving that I've done, I put on 7,679 miles on my cars. I grossed $8,475. I paid $1,833 in gas. My net earning was $6,153 plus a promotional earning of $678. So I netted around $6,800-ish in my 5 to 6 weeks of rideshare driving. The tip rate was 30%. I was tipped $1,089. So that's part of gross. 13% of my gross earning came from tips. And again, I had a 30% tip rate. The average miles per trip was around 10 miles for each trip. Average gross per trip is $11.08. Average trip active minutes was 21 minutes per trip. Average gross is $1.10 per mile. Gross online hours earned was $25. Gross active hours earned was $32, and the net online hours earned was $18. And down here we can see that the 765 trips that I did, 69% was from Uber, and of the 8,475 gross earnings that I had, 69% was also from Uber. 6 weeks of rideshare driving, I've had lots of different passengers, and anywhere I had doctors, I had lawyers, electricians, and flight attendants, pilots. The most interesting profession, though, that I met was a guy who shoed horses. Yes, they nail horseshoes to the hooves of horses. That was the most interesting profession that I met so far.